Hello and welcome. We are in the month of August, and what better time than August to be talking about trails and hiking and all of the things that the parks have to offer. My name is Maria Kliavkov, and as many of you know, I am the president of the Waterton-Glacier International Peace Park Association, the first peace park that's an international peace park in the world, dedicated in 1932 in Glacier. But it was inspired in 1931 in Waterton. And this year's assembly, which is in September, it's September 19th to the 23rd, it's going to be in Waterton. And I'm here with David Savage, who is our chair of our Environment and Conservation Action Team. And David, welcome. It's so wonderful to have you here with me today.
Thank you for the invitation, and hello, everyone. And we're going to have a lot of fun and really be in nature in Waterton in late September.
Yeah. David, you've been really instrumental in this part of the creation of the assembly, and I can't thank you enough for what you've done, because really the Conservation and Environment Action Team, we're brand new. We're all of 1 year old, but already you have an active page on our website that links us to many great resources. And you've brought a speaker in who will not only be speaking on Saturday during the assembly, but who will also be guiding a hike. So if you want to share that conversation and just let me know when you want me to bring up the map, we're going to do that for you.
Great. And actually, I have that map on my slide, so I can do that. But thanks, everyone. Conservation and protecting the environment is crucially important for all of us and our future families. Waterton-Glacier International Peace Park is one of the most beautiful paired up parks in the world. And Maria and I have traveled a lot, so we can say that with some integrity. The association is focused on building awareness. The Conservation and Environment team, Maria asked me to start the Conservation and Environment Action Team last September when we were having our assembly in Great Falls, Montana. And we had so many good ideas, so much passion and energy around conservation and environmental protection in our mini World Cafe that we did in Great Falls. All of a sudden, people realized this is at the heart of this. We've had Marshall, who's been a member, a supporter, and a national park superintendent, attend every online meeting we've had, just passionately promoting and helping us, guiding us with respect to what do we do for a conservation environment. Both David and Locke, as current superintendents of Glacier and Waterton respectively, have attended most every meeting. So I invite any of our viewers this month and ongoing to contact us, join us in conservation and environmental protection. When we asked the superintendents last October, okay, how can we help you? How can we support the initiatives and the mission that you have that align with our Waterton-Glacier International Peace Park Association? Number one is educate the public, because especially post-pandemic, when people are valuing wilderness experiences and not being in crowds, and greater environmental awareness and conservation awareness, so many more people are out on the trails and so many more diverse groups, which is wonderful. And it's not, you know, we can love nature to death. So the three objectives of our CNE action team for this year have been collaboration with groups like the Continental Divide Trail, with groups like the Great Divide Trail Association and others, and Rotary clubs, and reaching out, building awareness, you know, cross-pollination, support, etc. Another one was what Maria just talked about, is having a backcountry users guide page with great resources on our association website. So check that out. It is just brilliant, whether you're hiking with us at the assembly or whether you're taking your family anywhere. We need to be better prepared. We can't have people helicoptered out when they think they can just use a cell phone, because oftentimes in these wilderness trails, like the Great Divide, there is no cell service.
Yeah, and
Speaking,
what struck me when we were talking with the superintendents is they said it's like you said, it's wonderful that we're getting this diverse group and people who have never been out hiking before, but they don't know necessarily what they need out there. And it's really costing the parks in terms of resources.
yeah.
Struck me that it is a real cost to the park in terms of resources, and also people who are having bad experiences. And the last thing we want is somebody having a bad experience in the backcountry or causing damage, as you said, to the backcountry. So I see this education as such a vital role that we play and that we can do in terms of supporting both parks.
So speaking of collaboration, I've got a prop here, Maria. I don't know if you could see that, but that's my Great Divide Trail Association hat that I've earned while trail building in the High Rock Trail north of Blairmore towards the Kananaskis. And you probably can't see this very well, but there's red all over the brim here. And the reason for the red and the tie in there is in Cranbrook, our Interact Club designed, dreamed, installed, and invited the world to our peace pole in Cranbrook. And just delighted with your leadership, because Maria, it was you reaching out to say, why don't we have more peace poles to have a place to reflect on peace? So the reason for the red is when I hike with this hat now, I often scare people. And when I was painting, putting the undercoat with Andrea Ingram and the Interact Club from Mount Baker High School, uh, I got all sorts of red paint all over my arms and my hat. And as I was walking out for more supplies from Idlewild Park, people were moving away from me, going way off the trail to say, this guy, what? Looks like he's got blood all over the place. At any rate, so there is wonderful tie-ins to this. We're really excited. I want to invite anybody who's interested to join us in the Conservation Environment Action Team. It is brilliant work. It is good work. One of the things that I'm really proud of is the response of the Great Divide Trail Association. So we will have the executive director, Kate Hamilton, and one of the 6 founding members of the Great Divide Trail, Jenny Fike, at our assembly speaking about the Great Divide Trail within Waterton, the history. And they will also be guiding us from the goat haunt on the Friday on a almost by invitation only. So if you're interested, anybody, I'm going to show you some information shortly. But register for that, because we're keeping it to a minimum of 18. Again, we don't want to have 60 people hiking on a trail at once. That is so contrary to conservation and environmental protection. It'll be an 8-kilometer, probably 4 to 5 hour, maybe 6 hour, because we'll be gentle. But when you register on the website, through the website, I hope you join us, because Jenny and Kate will provide information on the history, on the background, the ecosystem, and it'll be a lovely day, mostly to connect, to have that wilderness experience and build our immediate connections to people who love doing these things. So number one, think
Sorry,
about joining.
can you just emphasize a little bit more about it being gentle? Because I've had a lot of questions about this. People know that you are a hiker, that Cheryl, your partner, is a hiker, and they've expressed concern. And I've explained to them that it's kind of more like a saunter than a hike. That's the word that I'm given. But if you could maybe explain that a little bit better so that people understand that they don't have to be top-notch hikers to do this.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification. So it's important that you be capable of doing a hike. It is a saunter, but you need to have mobility. You need to, like, it is a backcountry trail. It is, 4 to 5, maybe even 6 hours. We will stop several times just to have some conversations along the way. And because it's we're limiting to 18, we want to make sure that the people that attend are the ones that want to learn more and have the ability. So I in some ways, I really want to caution people, if you're not used to hiking for that long period of time, maybe it's not the thing for you. If you're a big beginner in some reasonable shape, awesome. Maybe I'll just go back for a moment. Some of the beauty of the Great Divide Trail and our association and these two parks, the reason I love it so much is for my grandkids. Cheryl and I have 8 grandkids. 2 weeks ago, we had our 12 and 13-year-old granddaughters on the Great Divide Trail on the Elk Pass between BC and Kananaskis, Alberta. And on the Great Divide Trail at that Alpine Club hut at Elk Lakes, they were able to meet a fellow that was riding his bike from Mexico up the Continental Divide Trail, which joins to the Great Divide Trail, on his way to Banff. They were able to meet a couple from the Ukraine riding their bikes on the Great Divide Trail. They were able to meet 2 women who appeared to be probably mid-20s who started at the international border that we will see with our hike and are going all the way up to Kakwa in northeastern British Columbia. Backpacker magazine, if I brag a little more about the Great Divide, about 6-7 years ago, names the Great Divide Trail from Waterton up to northeastern BC as the world's greatest wilderness long hike. So unlike the Appalachian or the Pacific Crest or those winds, you might be able to hike for a day without seeing another person. And there's only about 5 or 6 supply points in that 800-kilometer trail. So on our hike on the Friday of the assembly, it's 8 kilometers. So we'll give you a taste. If I might share now.
Yeah, please do. Show us that map.
So here's where we are. If you can see this, that's where we start, right down at Boundary Bay at Goat Haunt. And we simply hike largely along the lakeshore back to the town site. So that's 8 kilometers. So there is, you might go up 300 feet and go down 300 feet, but it's not as if you're going up Bertha Lake, Carthew, nothing like that. So it is reasonably gentle. Because of the storms that Waterton had in early July, the National Park Service is having to do a lot of bush and trail maintenance on this trail. Jenny and Ian, who will be leading our hike, Ian being Jenny's partner, have talked to Locke, and so there's some bushing, brushing, things like that. But largely, it's a lakeshore hike, but it could be, 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah. And while you have this map up, for those who are not familiar, you see in the upper right-hand side, the town site. Yeah. That's, of course, where the assembly occurs. And the plan for the 4 days is Thursday, September 21st, is in fact International Peace Day. And so for those who can join us on Thursday, we're going to be doing some service in the park at what is now going to be the Rotary Garden in Waterton Park. And at the end of that day, we are going to be doing a peace pole dedication in the garden. And then on Friday, and this hike that we're talking about is on Friday, we're going to take the boat down the lake. So we go down the lake past the border. The border actually happens between the two. By the time we get down to Goat Haunt, we are in the US, and we're going to be doing a peace pole dedication down there as well. And it's after the peace pole dedication that the majority of us will get back on the boat and return to Waterton. But for the 18 intrepid souls, you're going to have this fabulous trail experience.
Thank you. And if I'm going to stop the share for a moment, because the other slides I wanted to show you are not showing up. So just give me a moment. I'll talk while we're doing that. Really, one of the biggest things for our conservation and environment action team for October 2023 onwards is continued collaboration, continued work with the Great Divide Trail, with the Continental Divide Trail, things like that. But I also want to make sure that everybody feels that they're welcome to this, welcome to join us. And if you care about the environment if you care about these two wonderful parks, then that's all we need for you to participate. Now, I am sharing this one. This is from what Maria was just telling us. You'll see all the way down the lake into Glacier National Park is where the goat haunt is, and that's where the ranger station is. And hopefully you can see this. So goat haunt is way down here in Glacier National Park. There is an app so that anybody going across, there is an app that you can register. I think passports are still important for us to have, another highlight.
Well,
And
and what's interesting about the passport is this is the only place in the world where your passport will be stamped with the Waterton-Glacier International Peace Stamp.
Wonderful.
So bring your passports and get that all important stamp, because it's a beautiful stamp that honors both countries. And that's what your passport gets there. This is also the only way to access goat haunt in Glacier. This is a part of Glacier Park. If you're used to going to Glacier, and Glacier is stunningly beautiful, as you can see here, but this is the only way to access goat haunt without a really hard climb.
Wonderful. And I guess the beauty of this is the first summer in several years that goat haunt has been open.
That's right, because of COVID.
So this would be hiking south on the Great Divide Trail, but this is the look of the trail. This is what you'd see, what you'll join us on. Lastly, I just on this share. This is our friend Jenny, and this is her great book, Tales from the Great Divide. Now, back in the 60s, there was talk about a Great Divide Trail. In the late 60s, early 70s, actually the Girl Guides of Canada dreamed the Great Divide Trail going from Waterton up the Great Divide, the Continental Divide, up between Alberta and BC. And they started to make some headway. Parks Canada started to make some headway. Jean Chrétien, as environment minister, wanted to protect it. And Jenny and 5 others in 1974 took a little summer to say, gee, why don't we scout out a trail? This sounds like a brilliant idea. Nobody else seems to be moving ahead. So Jenny and 5 others actually spent a lot of time between Waterton and the Kananaskis. And the Tales from the Great Divide is available online through the Great Divide Trail or Amazon, etc. But that's Jenny. She hasn't aged a moment, and she will be also doing the talk during the assembly, supported by Kate Hamilton, the executive director. And what I'll say about these visionary people is they were university students, and they were driving vehicles that really had no business being out in the bush. And what they've done is significant. And the world's greatest long wilderness hike in the world, that's pretty cool. When we have people spending 3 to 6 weeks hiking it end to end. When I joined the Great Divide Trail Association in 2012, I think there was about 3 of us that were interested in hiking the whole thing. That's an exaggeration. But as of about 2 years ago, the people that actually registered, and it's just for information and safety, the registration, that was about 200. And we're thinking this year there could be 400. But 400 over 800 kilometers, there's not many people. So a true wilderness experience.
That's amazing. And how brilliant that we have this inspirational speaker who heard a calling, and she followed what her inner calling was and created this legacy for all of us. I'm so excited to meet her and to be able to hear her wise words. Will she be bringing books to the assembly?
Yes, I've invited Jenny to bring it to the assemblies for those people. And like most of us as entrepreneurs and people that care about the earth and care about Rotary and international peace, she's largely taken huge risks and dedicating a big part of her time and energy in the last few years preparing this book. So it's a real gift to Canada, to America, and to long hikers. Another one, the Great Divide Trail by Dustin Link is a great guide.
You'll need to stop share and then hold the book up again because your picture is very small here. So
Let me just go to that one
of
first,
course,
just
of
to
course.
say, here's what we're talking about, the goat hunt trip,
Mhm.
and then the talks with Jenny including.
Mhm.
But here's the probably the best guidebook, Dustin Links, and this is volume 2 or 3. I guess where we want to head to next is as people that are interested in joining our conservation and environmental action team, I think one of the most important things we can do, in addition to collaboration, reaching out to Rotarians, reaching out to youth, and helping the superintendents dealing with people that are less informed than they should be in their long hikes. Like, it's welcome, 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 but really be careful here. This is a safety and personal safety issue. This is wilderness. Um, and
And safety for those in the wild, safety for
yeah,
the animals, safety for the flora and fauna.
and yes, thank you for raising that. Yeah, we can't forget that they are part of our ecosystem. We're the visitors largely.
That's right.
Well, the Blackfoot nations, the Confederacy, while the Tanaha have been using this trail or portions of this trail for an estimated 10,000 years plus. We are the new people here. So we do it with respect.
Yes.
I
We
think
are
last thing I want to share with our viewers, President Maria, is one of the big things that we will be bringing forward from our conservation and environment action team to the board is, unlike the American trails, Pacific Crest, Appalachian, all of those great trails, when Jenny and others started almost 50 years ago in 1974, scouting out the long route for this trail, there was talk about funding and protection for long trails in North America. Around that time, the United States put together funding and protection for those great trails and overused trails. Canada, we haven't done that yet. So our Great Divide Trail is at risk constantly from, okay, is there more valuable use to society? I don't think there is, but there are good arguments for economic use. As an example, about 5 years ago, the Great Divide Trail, after Coleman Blairmore, would swing over into British Columbia and go up to Alexander Creek. And Teck strip mines, mountain removal to remove valuable metallurgical coal to build wind turbines and solar panels and cars and all that stuff. So, gotta really appreciate the environmental approach that Teck does. But Teck really didn't like backpackers walking through their blow up areas where they didn't want to explode people by accident. So Teck helped the Great Divide Trail out and really strongly encouraged them to say, you got to move it away from our mine. So that's what I've been involved with somewhat, but the Great Divide Trail has started the High Rock Trail about 5 years ago. I was fortunate to participate in a couple summer trail building High Rock Trail between Blairmore and Peter Lougheed Provincial Park. And it is beautiful. It is high altitude. It is gorgeous. But at the end of the day, we need to help the Great Divide Trail protect itself. So we will be bringing forward recommendations on how our association can assist in the effort to say, come on, Canada, come on, Alberta, come on, BC. This is a hugely important resource. Don't leave it exposed, because it is 100% voluntary.
So what's so beautiful about that is Rotarians are people of action.
Yeah.
The first International Peace Park occurred because Rotarians were sitting in the Prince of Wales Hotel looking down the lake. And, I said, you go down the lake and you cross the boundary. But what one Rotarian said in 1931 is, where no boundaries can be seen, no boundaries should be. And a year later, a park was dedicated. And so we can do things. We are people of action. We are people of passion. And when we can imagine it, we get inspired into action, and then we see results. And so I have no doubt that this action team will continue to be very successful in all of the endeavors. And David, I just thank you so much for everything that you do and for taking that leadership role when I asked you to step into it. I've just been enjoying working with you and seeing all of the things that this action team has already accomplished. And again, thank you for bringing Jenny to us. If you want to hear Jenny speak in person, as I know you do, if you want to walk with her on the trail and learn from her, I encourage you to be one of the 18 people, but because it is limited to 18 people, please, please, please go register right away. As you register, in the picture that David showed us, it's optional, the hike back. So you sign up either to return by boat on Friday or to take the hike back. And if you're one of the lucky 18, then I wish you just wonderful, wonderful journeys. I wish I could be with you, but I have to take the boat back because I have to be planning for that evening and the following day. We have a busy day on Saturday.
You're a little busy,
A
Maria.
little busy, that's right.
Thank you for navigating so much change and bringing so much great, positive, and younger energy into our association.
Absolutely. It's been my great honor and privilege to be at the helm of this amazing organization. There really is nothing like it in the world. If you are a Rotarian in districts 5360, 5370, 5390, or 5080, you are a voting member of this association. Just being a Rotarian in good standing makes you a member of the association, and you get to vote at our AGM. On Saturday afternoon, we have our AGM before we have our fabulous gala. In the morning, we have fabulous speakers like Jenny and many others, including former Glacier Superintendent Jeff Mao is going to be talking to us about the effects of the fires a couple of years before COVID. And, you know, because of the COVID conversation, we kind of dropped the conversation about what happened with the fires. So he's going to bring us up to date on all of that. We have just a whole bevy of fabulous speakers. I do want to call attention to Craig Davidson, the COO of Rick Steves Europe. Craig is our keynote speaker for our gala on Saturday night. Rick Steves Europe is a trendsetter. They've been a trendsetter in so many ways, but one of the things they've done is they've looked at sustainability in travel, and they've created a phenomenal program. And Craig is going to be with us in person. It'll be his first time at a peace park, at this peace park, to tell us about what it is that his organization is doing and how he's sharing it across many other organizations. So it promises to be a fascinating conversation. The whole weekend will be with like-minded people who care about this beautiful environment and just want to continue to create best opportunities for sustainability. So again, David, thank you for your time with us. I will put the links to the registration, as well as links to our website, so that you can access the backcountry page that David's been talking about. And David, we'll see you in Waterton.
You bet. Happy trails, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. We will see you next month. Until then, have a wonderful August and get out there on the trails. Namaste.